Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Christy Renee here from Christy Renee Healing Ministries. I just want to show you outside where I'm at. We are under a massive storm cell all the way around us. But it's pretty, so I'm not going to argue. And we got some cool rain. And if it had snowed, we'd be under feet of snow. So I'm glad it wasn't snow. But it cleared the air, so it feels better to breathe. And sometimes, what did they spray over you? Who knows, right? But it makes it harder or easier to breathe, depending. And this seems like it was natural rain, although the storm cells they may have made, they might not be natural. Who knows anymore? Who knows? But I wanted to get on real quick, and stuff just keeps opening up and opening up. So especially the truths about this place where we live, and the stuff that's gone on the planet as well, those truths are for sure opening up. But also just truths about who we are and what we are, and possibly our supernatural capabilities. Just everything keeps getting more and more interesting. So yesterday I was listening to a podcast of Alex Fiari. I think that's how you say it. And he does some really cool stuff. And he has a YouTube channel called Soul something. I can't remember the name of it, and I apologize, Alex. But he does some really cool work talking to different people. Fun to listen to. Super fun to listen to. So yesterday he actually had on Matthias DeStefano, and if you know who he is, he's super interesting. His story is crazy interesting. And the basics of it is basically he remembers all of his past lives for like 12,000 years or something. And he has information that he talks about that just makes a lot of sense. Whether it's provable or scientific or not is a whole nother story, but it just makes a lot of sense in the spiritual aspect of things, right? When you get it, you're just like, oh, wow. So yesterday I'm listening to him, and he was talking to Alex, and he said, Alex said something about moving to the fifth dimension. So this is a huge concept that's been talked about for a long time, that perhaps we in this three-dimensional plane of existence are moving into a fifth dimensional, or possibly higher, depending on where you're at, existence. And Matthias said it's not that way. It doesn't work like that, basically. It is a perception that you are in a three-dimensional experience. You perceive it, and you also would perceive your fifth dimensional experience, any dimension, right? He went through all of them, all the way up to, I think he said, the ninth, and that is when you would be as creator. And some people would say, you go to see God, you perceive God, right? So you're there, and whatever that word means to you. So interesting. The idea that we perceive the fifth dimension, I said it made a ton of sense to me, because I see beings. I've seen beings my whole life, and experienced different things around different beings that I never really understood. I either would cast them out because of my Christian understanding, so I would cast them away from me, kind of like an exorcism in the name of Jesus style, which is pretty powerful, honestly. And then I realized, because one of them told me, you keep calling to me and then you tell me to leave. Like, make up your mind. I'm here whether you tell me to come or go. It's all what you're willing to participate with. And so I quit casting him away and started talking to him at that point. That made a huge difference in my life, and opened up a lot of doors and a lot of understanding for me. And what he said yesterday was that you perceive the fifth dimension. And so I was like, so I'm perceiving all of this, and then I'm deciding which perception I am in or out of. And I hear a yes. Excuse me. And I was like, oh wow. So any perception, any dimension that you're able have the capacity to perceive, you can perceive from here, from wherever you are, because it is here, right? It's all around you, right? It's all around you. It's what you can perceive or can't perceive. So it's kind of like stacked on layers, like the nesting eggs kind of idea. It's all here. You just can't see it until you can see it. And then when you can see it, you're like, oh, that's how this works. So I understood that hardcore, and I was just like, that's crazy. So the idea of ascension came into my mind this morning. I was standing in the shower, and I'm talking to what I normally say as I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to my team. I call them my team. I'm talking to my team, and I said, so the idea of ascension, if what we're perceiving as our reality, based in dimensions or not, but we're perceiving whatever it is we're perceiving, the idea that we ascend is based on what you can perceive, based on what you have either remembered from past iterations, or based on your understanding and the availability that you have to go collect the information from your field. I have to go back and listen to this because I'm not even sure what I just now said. That happens a lot, right? So if somebody would say you're channeling spirit. So when you do that, go back and listen. Try and write down what you were just saying. That made my eye twitch. I seriously have to go back and listen to that. Okay. So what I understood this morning was the more availability I am to the field around me. So that would be the idea of the mind, right? Not the information you have in your brain, but the idea of your mind. And the better you are able to ask for information and receive information. So ascension is your availability to gather that information and then perceive your surroundings. Perceive. Are you in the 3D, or are you in the 5D? Are you in the 6D? Where are you standing? Where are you at? And we have the capability to go to any of those places based on your ability to allow it, right? Your ability to get rid of all your programming and allow it. So I was thinking about how, in the Bible, the Christian kind of idea is that, rapture, and somebody had said this to me the other day, rapture isn't in the Bible, so we're going to just dismiss that immediately. But the idea of separating, and I think they get the idea of rapture from the scriptures that talk about separating the wheat from the chaff, right? And so there's a whole bunch of text surrounding this, but it's that separation. So that is a perceiving, right? So the chaff is going to stay in the 3D, the wheat's going to move on to the 5D, but it's based on what you can perceive. And one of the things that is being said in the community that I roam in is that everybody will have the option to go. Everybody, so they're still talking about moving to the fifth dimension, even though it's a perception. But they say everybody will have the option to go. Nobody will be left behind. But it will be based on, my understanding from this morning was, it will be based on your perception, your ability to perceive that which is the fifth dimension. So wherever you are at in your journey, you'll be able to have that perception of whatever the fifth dimension is for you, just like we have the ability here in the 3D. Some people, we call it awake, are awake, and some people still have no clue that there's even anything going on, which is mind-boggling to me at this point, but it's how it is. And so compassion and just compassion for these people, right, until they get it. So there's that part of it. Your perception and your availability to perceive will put you where you're at in the fifth dimension. I don't think you'll just get dropped full on into it if you can't fully understand it and perceive it once. And it's not, it's a shift in perception. It's the 100 monkey idea, right? So when that 100 monkey idea sounds off, everybody's perception is going to go, it's going to shift. So I think that's how that works. Now, Yeshua said that, you know, the gate is narrow and it's hard for people to walk in that. And it's true, it is, right? The gate is narrow, but once you see it, you can't miss it. Once you see it, you can't miss it. So don't give up on yourself. Don't just let this slide you by. And I find it super interesting, and I'm really excited about having understood this morning, because not only does it change the way I feel about what's going on, it changes the way I can talk to people about what's going on, because there's some really cool things happening. You just can't see it. You just can't see it. And we want to get you to a place, and we being the cosmos and everything in it, that which gives us our breath and life, right, and our ability to be, we want you to see it. So stay true to the course. It's the people, I believe, my understanding is, it's the people that are trying, even the smallest bit of trying is going to help this whole thing flip. So just keep that in your mind. I tried to keep this under 11 minutes or under 10 minutes, but I didn't do a very good job. Keep that in your mind's eye moving forward. And when you look at things, look through the eyes of your heart, right? Which means you have to be coherent, which means you need to practice coherence. You need to breathe. You need to drop your awareness into your heart. You need to maintain that by staying there, by opening your eyes and walking around. The concept that you sit down to meditate, while valid, and there's a lot of goodness to that, you have to open your eyes and stay in that state. You can't open your eyes and leave the state of meditation and be able to grasp some of these other things. That's what causes the ability to grasp and to move forward into that which, no, we're not moving forward into it. It's what causes our ability to perceive that which is coming up. So anyway, I'm going to jump off. I love you. Bless you. Thank you for being here. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.